Hello everybody, welcome to Beginner's Crochet Corner. Today we are going to start the second dishcloth in the Fall Farmhouse dishcloth crochet along. This one is the one in pumpkin. I love, orange is not normally my thing, but I love this yarn, and if you look really closely you can see how for some reason that, I don't know if it's just this dye lot or if this is how they wanted the pumpkin to come out, but some of the yarn grabbed hold of the dye really well, and some of it you can still see the white yarn that they used to dye it show through, and it gives this really pretty effect, kind of shabby chic-ish effect that I just absolutely love. I wish more of their stuff was that way. You also need the yarn needle, a stitch marker, a pair of scissors. I think my kids took off with my good ones. And a size I crochet hook. Either one is fine. My wrists are really hurting today, so even though this one snags a little bit, I'm still gonna go back and use my clover one. Let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start with this slip knot. Wrap it around 2 fingers. Hold it with your thumb and your index finger and pull the loop through. Tighten it on your hook, and remember you want your foundation chain loose, so not super tight so that your work doesn't curve, but not like super like loose and sloppy either. Okay. So wrap the yarn that you're going to be working with around your pinky, over the next 2 fingers, and then around your index finger. Okay, or hold it however has been working for you. I had a really hard time with this when I was a beginner. So I held it all different ways until I finally made myself learn this one, because I couldn't figure out how to get my tension right without it. But if you have a way that works for you, go ahead and use that. Okay, thumb and middle finger hold the other tail so that we can chain. So we are going to chain 26 for this one. It needs to end on an even. Okay, so you're going to yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, so there's actually going to be 25 actual stitches. So if you want to count your rows, you should end up with 25 each row. Okay, and those are all nice little V's. So this very first one is going to count as our chain. Okay, or as our turning chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 single crochets in this next one. Okay, so go in through the loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. There's 1 single crochet, yarn over, pull up, yarn over through 2 loops. There's 2 single crochets. Now you're going to skip the next one. Okay, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, and that's actually what you're going to do all the way across. So skip a stitch, 1 single, 2 singles, skip a stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. Okay, I had one of my viewers ask for UK terms, and UK terms, a single crochet is actually what you guys consider a double crochet. So it's just 2 double crochets, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, all the way to the end, and then we will end up with 1 single crochet in the very last stitch. Okay, so go ahead and pause here, and I will meet you back when we are just a few stitches away from the end of the first row. Okay, we are towards the end of the first row. So this is the 5th stitch from the very end, and I've done 2 single crochets in this stitch. So I'm going to skip this one, and 3rd from the end is going to be 2 single crochets, skip 1, so this is the 2nd one to the end, and then here's the very last stitch, and you're just going to do 1 single crochet in the very last stitch of each row. So all the other ones are 2 stitches, skip a stitch, 2 stitches, skip a stitch, okay, until you get to the very last one where you only do 1. Okay. Now it is pretty easy to tell if you have somehow messed up on your counting, or you have skipped a stitch, or you've put an extra one in there, or whatever happens when, you know, we're watching Netflix and not paying attention as well as we should. So if you get to the 3rd stitch from the end and it's not where you should normally put your 2, like let's say you've crocheted 2 stitches in the 4th one from the end, where that is supposed to be a skipped stitch, then you're instantly going to know that that row is completely off. So then instead of having to frog like a whole bunch of rows or anything, by the end of each row you should know whether or not you've nailed it. So if your normal repeat puts 2 stitches in the 3rd chain from the end and 1 single crochet stitch in the very last one, then you know that you've done your row right. Okay, so we're at the end of the row. We're just going to chain 1, turn our work, and do the exact same thing. So we're going to start in that very first stitch. Okay, very first stitch. 1, 2 single crochets, skip a stitch. 1, 2 single crochets, skip a stitch. 1, 2 single crochets and skip a stitch. 1, 2 single crochets and skip a stitch. See if we can do this one on a little bit slower motion. Okay, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn through, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, 2 stitches. Okay, now you're going to do the exact same thing all the way through the end. Again, here's your 3rd stitch from the end, so you want to make sure that you get 2 crochets in this one, skip this one, and a single crochet in this one. And that's what you do for the entire rest of the dishcloth. Okay, so for all of the rest of the rows. So I will meet you back in a few minutes as soon as you have completed 25 rows. Okay, so this one has 25 rows in order to get that perfect square. Okay, and if they're not perfectly square, if you go an extra row or shorten it, it doesn't really matter. These are dishcloths. They can look however you want them to. Okay, but I will meet you back when we are all the way up to the 25th row and just about to the end. Okay, now we are near the end. I just love the texture of this one. For something so simple, it just gives a whole lot of texture. It's nice and big. It ends up being square as long as you made sure that you crocheted in the very first one and just one in the last one. You should be good to go. So we're going to finish up our last few stitches. The nice thing about this one is it's really kind of a precursor to like the V-stitch, and the V-stitch is used in blankets and hats and scarves and all sorts of stuff. So once you have a double crochet down and after doing this dishcloth, you should have no problem with some of the bigger projects made with a V-stitch. All right, so here's the 2 single crochets in the 3rd one and 1 single crochet in the end. And I actually think that this one I might experiment with, and I think I'm going to border this one with the variegated and just kind of see what I think. We're going to end this video here because I've already done one on the borders, and the borders are all the exact same. So in the interest of time and actually being able to upload a video under 15 minutes, on YouTube, we will end it here. I hope that you've enjoyed this one, and tomorrow I will have the one, tomorrow we will be doing the banana one. So the banana is a great ribbed one. So I will see you back here tomorrow. Thanks everybody.